Hello and happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Christmas Eve episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Folks, it is going to be a chill stream today, but you know what? Surprisingly enough, at 6 o'clock this morning, I woke up to, a pretty large DM pause. Yeah, I got something that I'm going to be talking about regarding Indiana Jones. It's breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, and it's crazy that we continue to get big Xbox news on the eve of Christmas. And we're here to hang out for about 65, 70 minutes. I already see there's almost 100 people here. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in even on Christmas Eve. And again, look, this has been an amazing 2024 for Double Barrel Gaming, and that's thanks to the kind generosity and clicks and likes and shares from you, the community. Because without you, we don't actually have a channel, but we're happy to be here today. Now, I'm not solo, but I am right now. Jamie Moran, unfortunately, had his power knocked out due to a storm, and Infinite Umbra said he was going to be here. We will see. Look, again, if it's just me, I'll try and pull a Mav and talk it out for about an hour. Hopefully I don't lose my voice, but we will have a good show nonetheless. I want to just get to the chat over here and welcome everybody in here. If anybody that's listening that has worked with me before wants to pop in, kind of just drop some bars, let me know, DM me. I'll be monitoring the DM. And, again, you're going to get some, this is not new. This is relatively old, non-spoilery Indiana Jones footage. But, again, we're going to have a good time talking about that. But, folks, that is not the only topic that we're getting into today. Jez Corden from Windows Central, obviously one half of the Xbox 2 podcast, did what he normally does, and that's, write pretty damn good stories. And he wrote a story regarding the future of Xbox and where they intend to take the brand. Now, you heard me talk about this yesterday, but there is some additional information that someone got back to him, someone with enough, I guess, clout in the conversation to say that not only was he right about his, in regards to the article he wrote, but he was, according to him, spot on. But Infinite Umbra, Merry Christmas, my brother. Well, Merry Christmas Eve. How the heck are you, man? Are you going to be singing it up tonight is the question.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year.
And we got snow here today. It was snowing for about 4 hours. And we actually, if you look outside the window here, the trees are covered. The ground is covered. I'm like, wait a second. We're actually going to potentially have a white Christmas for the first time in, 25 years? It's been a minute.
We haven't had I guess, a white Christmas, if you will, here in years as well. Like, it's been very un-Chicago-like, actually. It's been very calm as far as that goes. Like, I think it was a bit of snow, but it's like so minuscule that it's going to melt away before anything. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice, actually. I think it's going to be like 50 degrees after the new year.
Yeah, it's gonna warm up, which is gross because a Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday it's gonna be piss and rain. And if it would have been cold enough, it'd have been three days of snow, which would have been something I enjoy, but maybe not a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd. But I mean, hey, some people would say that confirms the global warming, but some, I guess, will deny it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I think Chicago, just knowing how the weather usually was here, I know that it's been a change. Like we used to have dramatic winters here.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Now it's kind of like non-existent, which I'm not disappointed in. I'm happy there's not crazy 12 inches of snow, lately, but it's been a change for sure. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah.
Well, listen, while glad to have you here. We're going to speak again. We're going to be about 70-ish minutes. Two topics, two big ones, as a matter of fact. Pause. But listen, you know what? Let's get into the breaking news as we await Jamie's return. Infinite Umbra, I know you saw the DM. This is pretty big news. And again, my source, and I only have a few, gave me the thumbs up to basically talk about this. So I'm going to read verbatim of the DM that I got 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning. And basically it says, boom, just got the word that Todd Howard and Disney have indeed signed a 3-game deal plus DLCs for Indiana Jones. I just found out, and you can use this info for your respective channels. Well, there it is, folks. There's not a lot into it. Obviously, I can't reveal who gave me the information, but needless to say, this is super exciting because Umbra, I know you're still playing it. It is definitely a Boom and Umbra type of game because there is a lot to do. And if you like Indiana Jones, if you like open world games, if you like searching for clues and looking around the next corner for the next potential secret or find, this game is for you. It is everything any Indiana Jones fan would want. And I think that it's so damn good, Umbra, that even if you've never been introduced to Indiana Jones and you thought that Nathan Drake was in fact the OG, you're going to find something here. But let's get into the breaking news before we get your hot takes on the Indiana Jones, because look, this is a big deal. Now, yesterday we learned that, and again, it's a 1 week number. It don't base your whole Indiana Jones is selling out everywhere mentality. But we did get some information yesterday that for the week of the 14th, it was the second highest selling game for monies that it earned, right behind Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So Black Ops was number 1, Indiana Jones was number 2. And why that's important, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I get it, it's just a week. But the caveat here, Umbra, is the fact that we're rolling into Christmas. That's one. Number 2, it's available on 2 services for quote unquote free: PC, Xbox console, and PC and a Game Pass for PC. So there's 2 places where you could literally just drop your money, play the game, and be out. But apparently, a lot of people are buying this game, and well, it's because it's a good game. But how do you feel about the confirmation this morning of a sequel, multiple sequels being signed between Todd Howard and Disney?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I mean, this game is great. You know, it's funny. I was talking to more people. The more people I've talked to who actually got a chance to get their hands on this and play through it, some people actually have called it their game of the year.
Yes.
Unironically. Like it's so funny to me because like I am like me and you had a great time. I'm not finished yet. I still have. I'm so weird because I start deviating to other games too. But I got to finish it up. But when I get into this, man, I start to search around and look for things, and it just takes me all day. I was talking to Rand. I had him on the show a week ago, last week, and he was like, "You're still on that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You sure you didn't just go to sleep or something?" Which is possible. Don't get me wrong. I will do that. But no, this is just a case of me just like enjoying the world that we're in Indy. Like the Vatican kept me on hold, I told you, for about close to 20 hours just because I was taken in by how well they represented, everything in there from the Sistine Chapel to everything else. It was just so well done. Games like that I get lost in. Same thing with like Assassin's Creed. So
yep,
this is a plus for me right there. I think that Machine Games did an excellent job of just giving you the essence of what indie is, like really, and Troy Baker to his credit as well. Like everybody delivered when it came to that. So I really, really am enjoying this game. I don't know where I would rank it as far as scoring wise just yet, but it's at the high 8s right now for me. So I don't know what it'll be at the end of it, but I'm loving it. I love what they're doing here, and I would absolutely love to see them do some more work on this. It's I would say this too. I don't know if I confused this with something else, but when you gifted me, for instance, that the anywhere code for Indie.
yes.
By the way, thank you again.
It's our pleasure, brother. It's our pleasure.
When I went into it, I could have sworn when I downloaded that it said something along the lines of the game and that, I guess, DLC.
Yes.
I thought I saw that,
No, you did. You're correct in saying so. I don't know the exact name of it. I could look it up real quick. It is something with giants.
Okay,
Yeah. So there is a side mission in the game that you can
mhm.
find that's a bit of a lead up to this DLC that's happening. So it's
Oh,
interesting how it's subtly in there, and if you don't play the DLC, you miss it. But if you found this and you started reading the paperwork on it, you're like, oh, it's going to make sense when you
got
get to the DLC.
Got you. Okay. So that's what that was. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, Valentine. That's that Order of Giants. In my head, I'm like, oh
Yep.
yeah, DLC. I already had that in my head, but it wasn't about that specifically. So I just had I had misconstrued. So no, so this is like at least not official, but it is unofficially confirmed that they're going to actually have an actual DLC campaign. That's what it sounds like. So that's a
Yes.
plus,
Yep.
and maybe a part two, right? Maybe a part two to this, and or not a part two because necessarily, but a new indie. Because everything is not like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade Part Two, but it's like a next indie. I'm all for 100%. I think everybody should be excited. I think they're only going to get better the more they finesse this franchise and do what they do. Like I said, their expertise in DNA pause is all over this game in the most positive of ways. And, they did a great job, honestly and truly. I think if you have not given Indy a chance, you all should definitely do so. It's a great game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what you're starting to see, because we're rounding out the year. Obviously, tomorrow's Christmas. 6 days, you're going to have New Year's, and then boom, there it is. Here we go. 2025, and again, I had said this to you, and I've said this to many people, that one of my major concerns with Indiana Jones, even though I thought it's a phenomenal game, my game of the year personally, was that it was going to listen. I don't like using the term Xbox tax, but unfortunately it exists. And there has been more times than not that a game will come out, it'll be exclusive, and everyone will find something wrong with the game, even though the game is a masterclass achievement. Perfect example of that is Hellblade 2. You had people, Umbra, that reviewed the first one when it was a PlayStation exclusive. You literally have people saying that at the end of the game, they were crying uncontrollably and they didn't know what to do with themselves. What an experience! What a story! Telling the trials and tribulations of mental illness was so special. And so the second one comes out. The studio is owned by Microsoft. It is an Xbox, and it's a console exclusive for Xbox, but available on PC. And it does everything. And I'm not just talking about one or two things, literally everything better than the original. The graphics, Unreal Engine 5, your favorite, is somehow benchmarked for this game. And you can tell because it looked amazing. The story, 2 times better than the original. The psychosis of one of the diseases that she suffers from really went in deep. The audio was better. Everything about Hellblade 2 was better than the original, right? Leaps and bounds, no questions asked. And it got beat up pretty bad. So that was my concern for Indiana Jones, because again, it does mean something to me personally, but not for a lot of people. But I am going to tell you this. Disney, as you know, currently as a whole, is in the cost-cutting business. They are scaling down on all of their projects that they didn't think that were going to work. They canned them. A lot of the Star Wars projects they canned. A lot of the Marvel stuff they canned because they're going through money. I will say something to this. Keeping it with gaming, the fact that LucasArts signed I was going to say picture, but a 3-game deal with Todd Howard says that they are incredibly enthused with the reception, how the game was made, everything, the care and respect that went into the brand. Troy Baker, like I said, obviously it didn't get into the Game Awards this year, but somehow or another, this has to show up in the Game Awards, at least just for him to win the award, because when you hear him, it's like listening to Harrison Ford. Like it is uncanny how amazing it is.
Yeah.
So
He did a
to
great job.
hear
Yeah.
to hear that they signed a 3-game deal says that they are ready to. And again, it's just 3 games. If this thing continues to gain ground, it's not going to end just in December. People are going to discover this game, and obviously it's releasing for PlayStation 5 in the spring of 2025. It's going to go to more gamers. Hopefully, it's well received there, and it finds its way into the Game Awards 2025. But like I said, this is to me a really big piece of breaking news, and I absolutely love to see it, because no one deserves this kind of accolades more than Machine Games, but more specifically Todd Howard, for trying to get this done. This, you got to remember, folks, he went to LucasArts a decade ago to make this game. And he kept on and he kept on and he kept on. And listen, there is no bigger indie fan than Todd Howard. So to see the studio get the accolades, to see him get a three game deal signed, I listen, it is all positive things for Xbox.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And again, like going back to my man Troy Baker, I am aspiring to do the voice acting thing. This dude is a legend. I
Indeed,
don't know
he
how
is.
he can be that good. Like you hear him, his catalog of voices from the Joker, of Mark Hamill's Joker at that, and sounds just like him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to tell the difference just about. And you know, to Indy, to Joel, to, you know, like the man is too talented, and he brings all of that talent to Indy. So there is never a time where you're playing and you don't feel that's who it is. You don't feel like, oh, that's not Harrison Ford. No, you're going to think it's Harrison Ford all the way through, unless in your head you're just like, oh, well, that's Troy. I can tell when he makes this certain sound. But yeah, it's pretty well done. And the game, again, is just really, really solid. So I'm excited to see what Machine Games does going forward. I think it's just going to get better. I doubt it's going to get worse. You know, they've staked their claim on turning in great games. So out of all the games I can think that they've put in, it's only been one that's been questionable, and that wasn't even made by them fully.
Right, that's the one with the daughters for
Exactly.
Wolfenstein, which I did not. I played through it. I didn't beat it. I just didn't like it as much, to be honest with you. But you can tell it was not, even though they helped, it wasn't a Machine Games joint, if you will.
Right. Yeah. So this is a positive. I'm hopeful for this. I do wonder though, like, if, I guess, just to throw it out there before we move on, is how long would this be before we actually see any of this come to, as you would say, fruition, as far as the DLC? Would it be next gen? Would it be?
Well, I mean, supposedly, the DLC that has been announced is coming next year, right? They didn't specifically have a date on that, so that's going to be out next year at some point. Is it going to be a year removed, kind of like the way Starfield was, a
Right.
year to year versus the actual release and the DLC? I'm not sure, but I think what they could do to keep people interested, because again, if this turns out to be a trilogy, and the first game is one of the games that were signed for this trilogy that we learned about this morning, that means that there are 2 other games that are currently in development right now. Again, the third one is nowhere near to be development. I'm sure that they're writing it as we speak. They're going to keep it moving. They have the assets, so it's not going to be 5 or 7 years to the sequel. I would imagine it might be around 3 or 4, because they have assets that work. And obviously, they're going to probably be launching the next one on the next generation of hardware. There's no doubt about that. But I think that there's an opportunity here to release DLCs at least once per year, keep the fan base engaged, keep the ideology of Indiana Jones in everyone's brain, and keep it going until the sequel. And then, of course, they can continue that story with DLC until the final one in the trilogy. I think there's an opportunity to do something here, even though it's gaming, but they could use a film-like cadence. The way they incorporate some TV and film, like the way you see Marvel do it now, where some TV shows are incorporated into film. and it seems like that's what's going to be happening moving forward. I think that could happen here, Umbra.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure. And it's also I'm noticing a pattern with just Bethesda. They had the same thing, like you said, with Starfield. They're having it likely with this. Doom, likely Dark Ages is likely going to follow suit.
Yep.
So I guess that's just going to be an ongoing thing for them. A year after release, we might get a DLC, a decent. I had to stop myself because I was going to say a meaty DLC, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't say that. But yeah, you get a substantial. Stretch my vocabulary. We'll get a substantial DLC in the future from each Bethesda release. That's what it's like.
And you know what? Shout out to Ray Oy. Now, Ray, I see you in there, brother. I know you said I agree with you, Boom. Ray, whether you know it or you don't, you won $100 gift card, brother. You got to reach out to me via email, DM, or message me on Xbox Live. You won a $100 gift card on Friday's $2,000 giveaway that Mrs. Boom and I did for our 7th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And you pick your platform of choice: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, or Steam. So reach out to me, brother.
Ray was saying that he wanted me to have that. Thank you, Ray. That's so you're such a positive force in the community. I appreciate you, Ray.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Ray. You heard me correctly. He says, what? Yes, you won $100 gift card, my brother. And yes, don't worry, it's not going to go to Umbra. It's for you. So just reach out to me, brother, and we will get you that $100 today. Merry Christmas, brother. Merry Christmas indeed. I'll DM you on Twitter. Okay, brother. Thank you. I'll look forward to that, and you just tell me what platform, and I'll send you the code forthwith after the show. But, ladies and gentlemen, why we're going to move on to the next topic, but I just want to add some context to what Umbra was saying earlier. Umbra, do you remember a story that makes more sense now? That Machine Games is opening an additional studio, a satellite studio in Sweden, and they're going to be fully staffed by 2025. We also learned that they are going to have 2 fully staffed studios, one working on Indiana Jones, one working on Wolfenstein. This is phenomenal news. And all this does is continue the onslaught of Xbox first-party games and more games to drop into your service known as Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Like I said, I don't know personally how anyone, and I really mean this, I'm not coming at this from a bot angle, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just being, let's be a gamer. Let's be a consumer for a second. I don't know how you could look at Xbox today and be like, nah, fam, that's just not cutting the mustard for me. You don't like games then, and you don't like saving money, because they're the only ones that actually have a roadmap that not go through 2025. They go upwards into 2027. And you could just look at the games lined up to see what they're going to do. Think about this. 2025 is expected to be redonkulous. And then 2026, ladies and gentlemen, we could get 2 new pieces of hardware, a handheld and a box. And we're going to get into that, what that box could potentially look like, from places like Lenovo and Dell and Alienware and even Razer. It's going to get crazy. But
yes,
2026 not only is the 25th anniversary of Xbox, it's the 25th anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved, which were rumored to have an absolute, again, the rumor, and again, I didn't break this, is that they're going to release Halo Combat Evolved redone in Unreal Engine 5. Could you imagine if that is the launch title for that console? They bring it back 25 years and they go ham with Unreal Engine 5?
You gotta be salivating over here.
Yeah, absolutely, and you should be, because you're Mr. Unreal Engine 5. If you didn't know, he changed his name. Used to be Sam, no longer Sam. It's Unreal Engine 5. There you go. But listen, again, folks, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, unfortunately, Jamie has not gotten back to me. He doesn't have any power. He can't be here. And, of course, that sucks because, today's freaking Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Probably Christmas for him, right? Like where he's at? Is he that far ahead?
Yeah. He's
Australia.
I don't know. No. He's 5 hours ahead, so it's not Christmas yet.
Not yet for
I
me.
believe it's where he is. It's 5:30 p.m. Let's
Gotcha.
hope that they, get to the fixing the power. Of course, that sucks on the eve of a holiday. But
Yeah, sure.
let me just catch up on these super chats, a couple of them here, and we'll get right into the story number 2. Adidas 20, great friend of the community, great friend of this channel. He drops a very generous $2 super chat, and he says, "Merry Christmas." Well, Merry Christmas to you, Adidas 20. Thank you for the generosity, and more importantly, thank you for the kind holiday wishes. Nino Vestek, who's been a channel member for 14 months. Aloha, brother. Thank you. Hopefully you're having a good time on the other side of the world in Hawaii. He says, aloha, Merry Christmas, Boom and Mrs. Boom. Mahalo for this amazing community. Appreciate all of the wonderful panel members. Gaming is life. Well, brother, aloha to you. And of course, I hope that you and your family have an amazing holiday, whether it be Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Celebrate safe and eat a lot of really good food, because that's what it's all about. But Ballantone, who's been a channel member for 17 months, my God, dude, thank you for the support. He says, lots of love to everyone. Happy holidays, and lots of love right back to you, brother. Thank you so much for that. Sith Lord, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, Umbra, the master of Christmas Eve party. Indeed he is.
Got me in the Christmas spirit right there, Seth. You wanted me to start singing almost? It sounded like it.
That's what it sounds like to me,
Have
brother.
a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year.
He does have a good singing voice. I will say that. That is you need to put an album down, brother. That's what you need to do. Somebody sign this man, because now he just sing,
holiday
but he does
hits.
Yeah.
Singing Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Hey, not bad. Not a bad one for sure. Listen, folks. Xbox moving forward, I think, is going to be doing some things that is going to be changing gaming forever. Umbra is a PC guy, right? We know he built a nice PC for himself. You've had a lot of people in the community move on to PC because of, well, power constraints of consoles. Again, I have the ability, I just don't have the want. I'm a console guy. I always have been. So this next story that was broken originally by the Hip Hop Gamer back in January, which we talked about yesterday, has now come to light in a big way. You had Tom Warren talking about it. You had Tom Henderson make mention of it. Now you have Jez Corden kind of not only throwing his hat in the ring, but also getting an update to a story that he wrote. And it's important to talk about it because I think that if you see what Xbox has contributed to gaming over the course of nearly 25 years, it has been a lot. They don't get very much credit for it. You got to remember, when the original Xbox came out, it was one of the first boxes that you could actually, it had, you could play online, right? The Xbox Live came to be, and it was actually an incredible thing. But most recently has been, well, Xbox Game Pass. They figured out a way to make gaming affordable for everyone. And I know a lot of people, and they were talking about the low IQ dudes that King David's always talking about when they call it welfare pass or stuff like that. These are idiots that don't like money. And of course they bend over to to what Sony gives them, and they just take it, and it's gross. But I think we're on the cusp, Infinite Umbra, of seeing for the first time, the real first time, where PC and consoles are going to merge. Now, in the beginning of this year, we heard from Sarah Bond saying that their next Xbox console was going to be leaps and bounds better in power and everything that goes with being a console. It was going to be something special. And we've been hearing throughout the year different thoughts, different theories. Some were opinions, some were leaks. Well, the story that Jez Corden originally wrote, and this was published on December 21st, 2024, and I talked about it yesterday, but I do want to read it verbatim, the actual title, and then the update from Jez. Predicting the actually very exciting future of next-gen Xbox hardware. And again, I read a little bit of the article live on the air yesterday. I'm not going to read it again because it'd just be like regurgitation. But I do want to read what Jez Corden had to say, and he posted this. This was the following day. He says, some sources reached out to me and said that my Xbox hardware future predictions article here is pretty spot on. Now, if you didn't read the article, I'll give you some quips from it, Umbra. Basically, there is a thought and a theory, and now a confirmed theory, that the next set of Xbox hardware isn't only going to be made by Xbox. I would imagine that there is going to be an Xbox for release that is going to be your standard fare Xbox. It's probably going to be this PC-like box that looks and plays like an Xbox, but has the power of PC. It's going to give you the ability to play your Steam library, give you the ability to play your Epic Game Store library, as well as every Xbox game you own. And I think what that ultimately does is put an unbelievable amount of pressure on Sony's next PlayStation, because I don't think that they could survive just releasing another PlayStation with a bunch of banger exclusives. They need to do more. And if Xbox seems to be the one taking the charge, they might jump Sony by a year. And that goes for the handheld as well as the home console. Because I really do believe, and Hargeet has talked about this before, he feels, and I agree 1,000% with him, that this PlayStation 5 Pro was a setback for Sony regarding their PlayStation 6 plans. And again, we'll see if that comes to fruition. But the next one that we know is coming out is going to be Xbox in 2026. But that's not where the story ends. As a matter of fact, it gets even crazier, because if you are someone that just wants the box, and let's say that box is $599.99, which I think that's what it's going to be. It could even be more. If it's going to be this ultra powerful PC console box, it may be $700, but it's certainly going to be way powerful than the $700 Pro that's available for PlayStation gamers right now. But, Umbra, if you are in the market, and I want to read something here from Clobriel, and this lines up with my thought and my theory. Clobriel responds to Jez's post, and if you don't know who Clobriel is, you should follow him. Definitely an incredible member of the community. He says this, Umbra. Personally, I think I would be highly interested in an overpowered premium Xbox device, no matter the manufacturer. That behaves like an Xbox console with all of the aspects, OC, well, of course, the operating system, the OS, achievements, Xbox Guide, My Library, quick access to games, no driver troubles, etc. And Jez, responds same. Umbra, there's going to be room, potentially, based on this new report from Jez Corden, that places like Lenovo, places like Dell, places like Alienware, places like Razer. He happens to be showing a Razer an Xbox controller in his hand for the picture of the article. There's an opportunity here for someone to say, you know what? I like the $700 box, but I got $1,000. What if I went into Lenovo and said, yeah, I want this box with this, with all of these bells and whistles, and it's just a checkbox. That's all you're doing is checking boxing, and it's adding to your cart. You press order, and your new Xbox costs you $1,100 after shipping versus the $700 box. And it has, the ability to do all the frames, do everything but a PC. This is the change that is happening. And I'm telling you right now, I know that the Xbox has been dead, at least a dozen times this year. But I think they're really going to make some big, powerful moves that's going to put the entire industry on notice, including PlayStation. Let's get your hot takes on this, man.
So this is really interesting. And we've had this discussion before on my podcast. I've also had it numerous times with Riskit and the family on the Infinite podcast. I don't think many people paid attention to that, but we've been talking about this for a long while. And when I see a lot of this pop up now, it's like, yeah, we talked about that, last year? Maybe I forget. It's been a while, but we've talked about it several times. And one of the things that continues to pop up is one is exciting because of the thought of the hypervisor situation, right? And so that there's that. Um, but this is interesting for a few reasons, but it's also scary for a few reasons too. Maybe if you're purely an Xbox gamer, right, it might be a bit worrisome to you for a specific reason, which I'll get to. Because I had this discussion with some fellas before the show just to try to flesh out my thinking of how I would approach this topic. And so here's my thing. Excuse me. We have some positives and you have some negatives, as you would have with anything, right?
Of course.
One of the positives is obviously it's going to expand the ecosystem. More people will get a chance to possibly get their hand on it, be it handheld or whatever device. There's more people that can get into the Xbox ecosystem, so that's a positive. Another positive is like you mentioned a second ago, like let me get that $1,000 variety version, right? And I got the pro, if you will, of Xboxes right here out the gate. So there is the option of having they can cater to like our different preferences or our our budgets. So there is a positive there for sure, and that thing is a really good part of it because at the same time I would say, well, at that point you may as well get you a nice PC, but at the same time that right there is a good positive because, like you said, you get to say, hey, well, I don't want to I don't like that I'm missing this feature on whatever the Xbox is, right? Well, but if I get this device for $50 more, I can get whatever, increase ray tracing or something, right? Like whatever it may be, $100 more, 200 more. Like, so there is a possibility of having these different varieties of options that it can lead to. Um, how do I put this? It leads to like this farmer's market of gaming, if you will, where you get to pick the items you want, pick the I guess the device you want. So that's pretty cool. I like that. It's going to increase competition, right? Because now these
Yes.
other devices, or excuse me, manufacturers, are going to have to try to present their hardware in a positive way that entices people to come to them. I had floated the idea in a discussion to the guys and asked them what do they think about Microsoft possibly endorsing a specific brand or two and saying, hey, this is, they have our official backing like a Mad Cats used to have. Well, but
It's interesting.
yeah.
Real quick, it really does line up with your point because someone in the chat named Pro. So welcome to the. I've never seen the name here. Welcome to the channel, brother. Thank you for the comment. Listen to this. This is interesting, Umbra. He says Jez was in another stream today and mentioned that this strategy is to possibly break into the Asian market by having Asian hardware makers like Samsung to make it a box for them. Bro, you know what? I didn't even think about that. That gave me goosebumps. I know it sounds
Oh,
like I'm like a big
could you
old
read
nerd,
that
but
again? What did he say again?
so listen to this. Jez was in another stream today and mentioned that this strategy is to possibly break into the Asian market by having an Asian hardware maker
Ah,
like Samsung to
okay.
make their box for them.
I see.
That's brilliant.
It actually is. It makes a lot of sense, and it would go in line with what they did before with Samsung having the Xbox app installed into the TV. So that does make sense. Actually, I can see that happening. Um, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Actually, I can't find any downsides to that. It's more where again it goes back to my point of them expanding the ecosystem, right? So that this goes back to that for sure. So that's what I would say. Like, what if I floated the idea? What if Microsoft had like their preferred platforms, but then that would obviously cause an issue with those they didn't pick, right? Like, well, I'm not going to go to HP. Clearly, Microsoft didn't pick them, right? So I canceled that idea because it just wouldn't add up for as incentive. It wouldn't incentivize the third party to to use that if you're not going to if you're not going to endorse them if you're Microsoft, right? But uh, I think that would incentivize us as shoppers or consumers, or should I say, to better vet which manufacturer is going to give us the best product. for me, I know Asus is going to give me a good product. I have my ROG Ally.
Yep.
I know they're going to turn in something good. Lenovo is going to give you a good product. I know that. I've seen other people who I know play their, their devices, such as Asante, for instance, or and other gamers. I won't throw out their names, but you know, so there is that. Then Samsung, whatever device they can come up with, I know it's going to be quality because Samsung is quality. So yeah, so all of that makes sense right there too. And again, increased competition is because it could spark a lot of innovation between these handheld makers, right? That's a positive too, because now they're going to have to try to outshine the other. And you have increased competition. That means better pricing for us. So there is a lot of upside to that too, I think. Um, Now the negatives is something like quality control. I was talking with the fellas, and they made a good point with that, and pointing out that, well, what's the incentive for them to essentially turn in I guess a device to um keep a gamer there for 7 years or whatever it may be, right? And now in my head, I'm thinking, well, it doesn't have to be for 7 years. It could be until the next innovation in handheld come, where they're going to be like, well, hey, now you want to get the ROG Ally 3 or whatever, for instance, right? Or the 4 or whatever. But so they pointed out, okay, well, for instance, Steam has the Steam Deck has Steam, right? So that if they can get you into the Steam, get you the hardware is just the device to get you into the ecosystem. So if they can get you to get a Steam Deck, their end game is to have you using Steam, which brings you into the ecosystem permanently, just about, right? So that is a great point right there, and I have to take that into consideration. So my thinking then is with the quality control, there could be inconsistent, uh, I guess, experiences for all of us, right? So there is that Microsoft would have to, I guess, be on the lookout for.
I would imagine that there's
Yeah.
going to be a standard that has to be met, because the way it was explained to me is Microsoft wouldn't go to Lenovo. Lenovo would go to Microsoft and be like, "Yeah, listen, we want to buy the Xbox operating system to make our box," and they're going to do what Lenovo does with their hardware, and they're going to add their flares to it, but it's going to have an Xbox quote unquote industry standard that must be adhered to. And then obviously all of the bonus and bells and whistles you get on the back end will be exactly that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I just don't know how they would enforce it on these other ones out necessarily. I guess, of course, they could have it with it's a partner program and say, hey, you have to have this. You don't have this, you can't get our blessing to use our OS, whatever, right? So that could be it. And to a message that can't be popped up because it's profanity, that could be one of the negatives too. Could be confusing for the consumer, right? Wait, remember the old what about Billy and his grandmother? Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Little Billy.
What about Billy's grandmother? Won't you be confused with so many different options? Well, that could possibly be a thing. I think, though, that if you get just slightly informed, this shouldn't be an issue for anybody, right? So I wouldn't even use that. But I guess one other negative could be like dilution of the brand. Because at a point, and I had this discussion, and you mentioned it earlier, I'm more on the PC side of things now, right? I still look at my PC as an outreach of an Xbox. I got the Play Anywhere titles, which I love. I get to play my Game Pass off my PC. I'm playing indie through it. I'm playing other games through it, Stalker or whatever. So I'm not out of the ecosystem. I'm still in it. And of course, I still have Steam and everything else and other launchers if I want to use them with my PC. Now, here comes the rub, I suppose, is that with all of these expanding out, and if these devices are, up to par, or people have poor experiences with them, it could possibly backfire to harm Xbox in a way, right? They might say associate Microsoft with that bad experience. It's possible, because some people are unreasonable sometimes, right? And they're not going to be like, well, it's because of this. They're not going to rationalize it like that. And I'm like, well, Xbox told me I could use this, and I went to this this manufacturer, and I couldn't even play Call of Duty or whatever. Like, you never know what could be the thing that somebody focuses on or what harms them.
Yeah, but I would imagine that's the same thing as PC, though. And I think that's the whole point of this.
Possibly, but I
You
think
know,
you get a reasonable enough, powerful enough PC, you
there are
likely won't
PC
have that issue.
every ilk, power, parts. Manufacturers. There are hundreds of them, if not thousands. Right.
Sure.
So people buy their PC and they build their PC for a specific reason. I think where this really makes sense is that, and I think, again, they're not abandoning the console people like me. If I want to go buy the $700 box that comes out in 2026 that can do all of this next generation stuff, but is limited to its scope and scale because it is not a PC, it's PC-like, then it's great. I'm not changing parts in that thing. But I think that if you are someone that is already into PC or understands PC, this is I don't see a downside. I think that you give people who have the spendable money and the potential, understanding of how PC works, and you can let them literally go to like when I bought, and I used Mrs. Boomstick as an example. Last year when I bought her new Alienware laptop, I built it from what I understand. I picked the parts. Yes, there's a standard one, $1,600, but I didn't want that one. I wanted more memory, paid for that. Wanted rather than they had I think they had a 3080. I went with the 4060, right? Like I upped the ante on that. So it was a little bit more expensive. By the time I was done, about $2,200 was what I spent on it. But it had everything that I picked. I built that PC, and that with my physical hands because I don't know anything about that, but I understand parts and I understand how to pick them and how they work together. And I think that if that was all that was there, I'd say it'd be a detriment to Xbox because people like me just want a console experience.
Now, what happens if Microsoft doesn't offer the console experience anymore?
I don't think that's gonna. We already know that they are, though. See, that's the thing. Like
we know it for at least 2 gens, right? But what if this pans out? And I'm just looking at the possibilities, so nobody in the chat start getting upset. But I'm just saying, let's say they go into the 3rd gen from this movement here, and they're saying, well, we're going to move into being just a third-party publisher fully. Now you have to get these other devices. What then?
Then it's no problem because at that point they're still going to. I'm not building these things. I'm not going to my local Best Buy to pick up a part to put into my Xbox. What I'm going to go to Lenovo, Asus, Razer, whoever is going to be my favorite, builder, and be like, oh, okay, yes, I could just build it, and it's going to come in the form of a box inside of a box, and all I got to do is plug it in underneath my TV. Yeah, I'm good. I won't have a problem with it because I'm not physically updating drivers. I'm not worrying about that because the way that this appears is going to work is that it's going to do what if a console needs an update, it's just going to update itself. I'm not going to be like, oh crap, I have to update the drivers for this controller. No, it's going to run like a console. That's why.
Yeah. That's why on a PC, it might have to do that.
That's why I don't deal with the PC. That's exactly it. I'll put it to you this way.
Just had a buddy just recently had the GPU die on him.
Oh God, yes, I don't want no trouble like that. I'll say this. Instead of worrying about what's going to happen in 20 years, let's worry about what's going to potentially happen in 2026, folks. And I know that there is a console. There is a lot to get excited about for Xbox. They are looking to up the ante in physical hardware. You're going to get a console in 2026. You're going to get a handheld, which I thought was going to be sooner. And look, like I said, CES is right around the corner, and we know somebody with the best beard in the business is going to be there, to do something along with the original designer of the Steam Deck. I think there's going to be something special there. I think we're going to be very surprised. It's going to be a great way to start the year. Look, what else could you say? I mean, this is all new information, and it's besides having a roadmap, Umbra, you have a hardware roadmap that basically has been confirmed by Jez Corden of Windows Central. And again, this story it originates all the way back to the hip hop gamer in January when he heard about this quote unquote hybrid Xbox. And it's been catching steam, no pun intended, ever since. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than I'm very excited.
Was Hip Hop Gamer officially confirmed to be the first person to speak on that?
Well, as far as I am concerned, yes, because that's where I saw it first.
Yeah. I think I heard about this before him saying that, but and I can't remember when I did hear it, so I can't say.
I mean, listen,
but I know I saw him saying it, like, "Hey, give me my credit." I saw that.
Well, yeah, he got into a little bit of a tiff with Tom Warren on the socials and stuff. And look, at this point, it doesn't matter. It's where I heard it first. Like I after his stream, and he put because after he does his streams, he usually does like a tweet. That's where I saw it. I went back and watched his stream. Like,
he does streams. I didn't even know he does.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's ridiculously talented, so he does that. And he does have the Hip Hop Gamer show. He does have the show. He does have a show for it. But
okay. I know Jason, I saw him like have interviewing Denzel and everybody. I'm like, wow, that was dope.
Yeah, he's in it. But Jason Ronald is going to be at this Lenovo event.
Yeah, I'm
January 7th. And
I'm excited for that. I want to see to me, that's the stuff I'm looking forward to because he's the head of the Xbox next gen. So
he's vice president. Yeah, he was just recently promoted. I got a chance to congratulate him, and he thanked me for it because we talk in DMs every now and again. So look, all of this stuff is happening, and I know that change is super scary for people. The console dudes like me, we're gonna live. We're gonna be okay. Anyone that is a PC head that appreciates all of the bells and whistles you could put into a PC, you're going to live as well. I think this is going to be a very different generation for Xbox. I think that there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking regarding what hardware and how they're going to figure out to push PC and console even closer together. And I can say that I'm here for it. Again, as long as I can get the console experience with the PC bells and whistles, just sell me the box that goes underneath the TV, and I'm good. And I'm happy. And I think there's a lot of people in the chat that feel that way as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. I mean, I'm excited for the future in general. But I think for me, I know I'm like they got the whole 5080 and all of that 5090 coming out.
That's coming next year.
I'm not moving up to that anytime soon. The thing's gonna be a power hog. And somebody made a good point in the chat. I think it was Fuzzy Tomato. They said, well, the point you're going to reach a point where we can't even go anywhere as far as technology and advancements because games are not even utilizing what we have. The 4090s are not being stretched to the limit by most games. I would say maybe Cyberpunk does it and maybe one other game or two, but most games are not pushing the limits of even a 4090. So a 5080 and a 5090 are killing a 4090, for instance. So at a point, we're going to reach, I forgot the name of it, but there's a name of it where you just kind of, I guess you get diminishing returns. You know what I mean? So I venture to say, I did see a comment too where somebody was saying, I think it was Jesse James. He said, well, Microsoft could just give us a package of 4090 in a device for like 800. Yeah, good luck with that, brother. That ain't happening no time soon. But like I say, I'm just excited for it in general. Me, like I said, moving more to PC, I know what I wanted, and that's more performance. You know what I mean? That's really it. It's not like I'm like, screw Xbox. It's nothing like that for me. I just know where I'm at with it now when it comes to what I want as a gamer. And I think the exciting part about the handheld situation and with the OS situation is, again, goes back to your point where people can have the options of maybe, putting an experience together for them that works well, be it whatever, be it a stronger GPU, be it whatever. So that there's an upside to it for sure. I'm not sure of all the downsides just yet, but I know there will be some. But I would say, probably venture to say the positives maybe outweigh them in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, a lot of it is speculation, folks, right? Like nothing has been confirmed. Microsoft hasn't confirmed anything, but there's a lot of people talking about this, and I'm sorry. Like if you want to stick your head in the ground and don't believe any of this, I'm not going to fight you on it. And but I don't swim in the waters of just rumors and get disappointed. This is the industry, folks. The industry is changing. Microsoft is going to be making the industry, and they're going to put it on notice. The way consoles are used to be made are not going to be made that way. This is why I feel like I know that what about Nintendo? Nintendo, it has been in their own lane for decades, and they will continue to be in their own lane. They're going to sell their hardware from inception and make profit off of it, because why? Is the Switch 2 going to be as powerful as an Xbox Series X or PS5 Pro? It is not. It is going to be as powerful as an Xbox One X. And that's how old is that technology? And their magicians at Nintendo know how to make their games look and run amazing, right? So leave Nintendo out of the conversation, because they're always going to walk and march to their own drum. That's just who they are. PlayStation, on the other hand, I think they're in a bit of a pickle, because they have the Pro, right? They had, they invested a lot of money into VR. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out for them, and they killed off the PlayStation VR 2.0. We have a mid-gen refresh with the Pisser technology. And no, it is no longer, thankfully, we know that it's not as powerful as a 4090, and that's fine. It is, for some people, it's a good jump. And if it's a good jump for you, then it's well money spent for you.
Mhm.
I didn't think so, and that's why I didn't buy it. But
There you go.
Understand, even Sony is going to have to make some adjustments to how they release their next hardware.
That's the thing. I had a conversation too, Boom.
Yeah.
And I said, well, see, because people were like, some of the guys were like, well, this puts Microsoft in this way, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, it may feel like that. And I said, the other guy is also a PC guy. I said, well, for us, we're kind of already in our lane. So whatever Microsoft does on that doesn't really concern me negatively, because I'm still going to get what I want, what I want performance-wise. But then I think Microsoft is always kind of ahead of its time. We all know that, as far as features or whatever, that the world might not be like warmed up to. So I feel this could be a positive for them. It's to be seen. I think it will be. But, and I said PlayStation is typically kind of a follower with this. They'll see how it works with Microsoft and say, well, we're gonna do something like that too. Yeah. I think that's how it could play out. We'll see how it works on that. Oh, but by the way, Gen X Gamer, you said none of the GPU are power hogs if you tune it correctly. That is just not true, brother. You're saying you're playing Indiana Jones with 7900 XTX and putting 252 watts at 4K 60. The 5090 is expected to require around 600 watts.
Wow.
It's very power hungry.
Yeah.
Some people are going to have to choose between food and power if you get that device. It's just that simple. It's going to cost a lot.
Jess actually said something on just a random comment. He says, based on the pricing of the 50 series and PCs next generation, there's still room. There's still plenty of room for home consoles. And I think what he's talking about is something like a 5090 costing what, $3,000. Who has that kind of money, like, to spend on a card? No, thank you.
I don't.
Yeah, but
I look, save up for that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I have no interest in it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm at the 4080 Super. I'm solid here. At most, I might move to a 4090. I see no reason for me to try to move to the 50 class.
Nope. Not at least until the 60 class is coming out 2 years later.
Exactly. Sheesh.
But listen, again, folks, this was meant to be a 60-minute show. 2 topics in and out. Unfortunately, again, we didn't get Jamie here today. He lost his power. I hope that he gets his power before the end of the day, so at least he can enjoy Christmas with power. That would be a miracle. And I don't know. He said something about the weather, him and where he is on the other side of the pond. Hopefully that does get rectified. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just catch up on these last super chats. There's been quite a few of them, and then we'll get everyone out of here so you can enjoy your Christmas Eve. We have here Silver Afro has been a channel member for 39 months. Brother, that is very kind of you. We appreciate the generosity. He says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you and yours, dude. Will Broke Boy Lewis, who gets his comments stolen on a regular basis, drops an outstanding $5 super chat. And he says, this is why the Blueies have changed the story. Instead of Xbox not making another console to Xbox not making another traditional console. Yeah, I mean, the goalpost continues to move, and they're not asking for better or what's going on their side, which is really weird to me. Like, if you're a diehard PlayStation guy or gal, that's awesome. Enjoy your console. There's a lot to like over there. But I don't understand why people consistently talk about Xbox when you hate the brand. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, if you hate Xbox that much, why would you continue to talk about it? Just play your console. And OPS, by the way, maybe you should ask Sony what the H they're doing. I don't know, but whatever. Michael Mooney drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, Merry Christmas, everyone. What if Jason announces Steam OS coming to all Series S and X with all Steam Deck games being supported? That would break the internet. I mean, again, take it for what it's worth. The guy that created the Steam Deck is going to be there. Oh, it just so happens that Jason Ronald gets a promotion to vice president of Next Gen, and he's going to be at the Lenovo event too. Something has got to happen, right? Like, I don't even think that's you're even spitballing here. Something is going to be announced. What? We don't know. Let's see. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops an additional $2 super chat and says, finally got my Volare pillow today. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I hope you enjoy the pillow. It is dope. And that design is mint. Solatech, who's been a channel member for 3 months, says, wishing everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and Grinchmas. And remember to hit the like button. Peace and love. Brother, that is very kind of you for the warm wishes for everyone. We appreciate you being here. And of course, we appreciate the kind words and the generosity. We have Showtime Reezy drops a very generous $5 super chat. Reezy goes on to say, don't tell us how to live our lives, Umbra. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. I love it. I love it.
It's
Reezy.
my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Indeed, and no crying on Christmas Eve. That's right, no crying. Even hopefully you get more than underwears and socks. But again, if you didn't,
boom,
yes,
you would cry too if you got handed a PlayStation 2. No,
I have a PlayStation. I would be happy.
That was
a lot of games
I apologize for that.
Our generous friend from Hawaii, Nino Vistic, has gifted again double barrel gaming membership. That is very generous of you. You continue to bless us with your generosity, brother. Have a great holiday with your family. Thank you again. Highlander 001 took time from driving his tank around the neighborhood to drop a very generous $5 super chat. And he says, Merry Christmas, everyone. My best Xmas memory is when I came home from the Gulf War to my newborn son. That first Christmas with my family. Brother, thank you so much for your service. And that is a powerful, powerful memory. That is a really big deal. Thank you so much for sharing something so special. Yeah, man, it's not like coming home to the family after being on tour in another country. That is a really big deal. Thank you, Highlander, for your everything that you've done for this country that unfortunately goes unnoticed and unthanked more times than not. But we appreciate your service. Have a great Christmas with you and your family. But listen, that's going to do it for us here. Me and Umbra are going to get ready to get on out of here. But Umbra, we got to sell the brand of The Fix. This is a podcast that you should be subscribed to, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Him and, of course, Daniel McGee get down and they talk about wrestling. They talk about did you guys talk about the Superman trailer by any chance yet?
Oh, yeah. We talked about it.
Okay,
It was a little crazy. I put that thing on, man, and they shut me down.
Yeah, I bet they did.
They shut a brother down. I was sitting there, me, Rand, and Danny were talking. Next thing I know, they're like, Your channel has been removed right now. I'm like, what? Been suspended, et cetera, et cetera. And I had to let the trailer stop or stop the trailer or whatever before it would clear to let me stream again. And
That
stop the stream.
WB is so gross,
I
bro.
thought that
Yeah.
was so stupid. It was like I'm not playing the sounds. You're not hearing any of the music or anything.
Yep.
It was just a video. Who's that? Jubei. You see, now I wish you a terrible holiday now for saying that. That was so unnecessary. He said it tech is way greater than UE5. It was
Oh
just,
wow.
it's like you tried to insult me for some reason. I don't know
That's
why.
throwing down the gauntlet. Holy
Yeah,
matrimony.
for nothing.
I thought we're supposed to be friendly on Christmas.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Christmas
means
time. That's not the holiday spirit I'm looking for.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. WB is notorious for doing that. I mean, even content creators that have 100,000 subscribers get that happen to them. That's why I'll never cover anything for WB. But you know, yeah, please.
I think it's going to be a good movie, though. I'm excited for it, but I see a lot of people are kind of prejudging it because it's not Henry Cavill, which I get it. He is the modern preeminent kind of Superman everybody wanted. I get it. Handsome devil, But I don't know. I think the new guy, he has a terrible last name, by the way. Corn Sweat. It's terrible last name.
I don't. I'm gonna see it. I'm excited for it. I was on the fence about Crypto, but I like the dog in action. He's a cute dog. I'm not a big fan of the suit, man.
Some parts of it I don't like either.
Yeah, there's some aspects where the suit looks really good. There's other aspects that it just doesn't. I don't know,
rubbery a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
got
that
like creases and stuff. Yeah.
It's that MCU-ification of the costume design. I've noticed that.
We'll see. I like what Mr. Terrific looked really good. Hawkgirl looked good. I hated Guy Gardner. His haircut was
he looks terrible.
God.
It is a classic throwback to the.
It is. I get what James Gunn was going for, but that hair, and I love that actor. Oh my God, Fillion is great, but that hair, I hated that hair. I'm not gonna front, but listen, sell the brand of the fix, brother. Talk about where people could subscribe. More importantly, listen to you and Daniel McGee break it down each and every Thursday.
Yes, indeed. Boom. Thank you for doing what you do, brother. And to yourself and the missus and to your family, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And to the family here in the chat and for those listening wherever you may be, Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas to you as well. As far as where you can find me, of course, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me on Twitter. You'll find me on Blue Sky. I was on Threads and all that, but I can't remember all those. You'll find me on all of those.
It's too much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Exactly. It really is. You can find me there. I don't know if I'll respond, but hey, go for it. As far as the fix, it is at 8 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays. I'm not sure if we'll have one last one since it will be after Christmas, but it's really the holiday season. I don't think Danny would be free for it, and I'm guessing most of you all will have been with your families and such and whatever. So I'm not sure if I'll have one last episode or not for the year. I don't know if I will. I'll see. But I would hope that you guys give a brother a chance and subscribe if you have not on my channel. Just look for my name on YouTube. I'm going to provide the link in a second. And sub and come by sometimes and check us out and chat with us. It's a fun show. Have a good time. And and again, enjoy your time with your family and Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays.
Yeah, well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you. Thank you for everyone tuning in, even on Christmas Eve. We appreciate the generosity that came the way of the super chats and the channel member chats that continue to support the channel. Again, Rayoy, reach out to me so I can get you your prize on Twitter. If you follow me at Mr. BoomStick XL, I'll look for the message, and I'm pretty sure I'm following you, but I'll reach out to you. And we'll get you your prize today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Boomstick and I want to say a big thank you to all of the incredible support over the year. We wish you and your families an amazing Merry Christmas. Obviously, we're going to be doing some shows next week, so of course we'll talk Happy New Year. But we just want to wish everyone a very happy holiday. No matter what you celebrate, we want you to do it safely. And again, I just want to put on the Popo hat here, folks. Listen, I know you hate to hear it, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. Please, if you're going to celebrate responsibly. Do not drink and drive. You do not want to ruin your life, but more importantly, you don't want to ruin someone else's, because that is what always happens during the holidays. You have a drink or two. You don't think that you're tipsy or you're boxed, And you know what? You get into a wreck. The last thing you want to do is kill somebody on Christmas. So please, for the love of everything, do not drink and drive. And that's going to do it for us here on the Xbox Factor Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Of course, my co-host today, Infinite Umbra. Wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. And, of course, we're going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.